You are listening to Boxagon Sports with Abraham Storns Jr., broadcasting the very best in boxing, MMA, and wrestling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Hey fight fans, I'm back on YouTube, guys. I'm glad to be back on YouTube again, doing my Boxagon YouTube shows. And today I'm going to talk about UFC 252. That's taking place tonight between trilogy fight between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title. This is a trilogy fight between the two. The first two fights were a very good slugfest. The first fight didn't last very long. Stipe Miocic ended up losing his title to Daniel Cormier, aka DC. Cormier knocked him out in the first round. A lot of people felt the first fight was very controversial because of an eye poke that took place a minute before the knockout took place. And Cormier ended up winning both belts that night. He ended up winning the heavyweight title from Stipe, and he was already coming into the fight as a light heavyweight champion as well. The most bizarre thing about that fight was Brock Lesnar coming in there talking trash, pushing Cormier, calling him out for a fight, and after that, Brock Lesnar kind of disappeared from the scene. They were in negotiations shortly to have a fight between Cormier and Lesnar, but somehow negotiations fell through and that fight never happened. And so Cormier ended up taking on Derek Lewis after that fight. He ended up making Derek Lewis submit. And after that, he took on Stipe Miocic in a rematch last year, back in August of 2019. That fight ended up being very longer than the first fight. It was a very back and forth battle. It was one of the best fights of 2019. It was an all-out slugfest. Cormier came out the aggressor. He landed a very huge slam on Stipe, and Stipe came back in rounds 3 and 4, landing some body shots, kind of gassing Cormier out. Ended up winning the fight by knockout, and I kind of predicted that fight very accurately. I knew Stipe was going to win that fight. I was predicting it to be more so of a decision than a knockout, but even though he knocked Cormier out in that fight, that didn't really surprise me at all. Both of these guys are two of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time in mixed martial arts. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight tonight. It's going to be an all-out slugfest, just like the first two. It's kind of hard to pick a winner. DC says that he will retire, win, lose, or draw. UFC President Dana White said he's not really buying into that. He says he feels that the DC will fight again if another payday comes towards his way. And also there's been talk of Francis Ngannou or Jon Jones fighting the winner of tonight's fight as well. So I wouldn't want to see Jon Jones and Cormier fight for a third time. That is bad matchmaking right there. Even Cormier's wife said she doesn't even want to see him fight Jon Jones again. So if Dana White makes that fight, I don't think it will do a lot of pay-per-view buys because Jones dominated him twice already, even though the second fight was overturned as a no contest. Jones was originally awarded the KO, but Jones had his drug issue, so they had to overturn the fight because Jones tested positive for some type of drug. So, the fight that makes more sense to me will be Stipe and Jones. Stipe and Jones, that fight has been talked about probably for a few years now, even before Stipe lost his title the first time to Cormier. Stipe and Jones would be a very interesting fight. I think Jones would dominate him too, but a lot of UFC and this MMA fans period want to see Jon Jones fight at heavyweight. Now, as far as Ngannou, he lost to Stipe like last year or 2 years ago. Stipe and Ngannou, a rematch between those two. I think that Ngannou will probably knock Stipe out in the rematch. I think that Ngannou is a better fighter ever since he lost, and I think that he can knock Stipe out. And as far as Ngannou and Cormier, the thing is with that fight, I think Ngannou can knock out Cormier as well. But if Cormier out wrestles him, then he cannot beat Ngannou. I know it would look weird because there's a huge height difference between those two guys, but DC he always fights guys that's like way bigger than him, and he's beat most of those guys. Like the only two guys that beat him are Stipe and John Jones. So like size doesn't matter whenever DC steps into the octagon. So both guys are very exciting to watch. A lot of people label Cormier as a boring fighter, but I actually think he's pretty exciting. He has a good ground game, and he also has a good stand-up game as well. So I don't view DC as a boring fighter. But Dana White is also saying that possibly John Jones will move down to light heavyweight. I'm not sure if he's going to fight DC a third time at light heavyweight. That fight doesn't really make any sense either. If Cormier were to win tonight, if the fight were to happen, it would make sense that it happens at heavyweight, because DC going back down to light heavyweight, that doesn't make any sense at all. So we'll just wait and see. I'm just happy to see that John Jones is going to be back in 2020, despite all the drug issues he's had. And he even contemplated retirement because he couldn't get a fight with Francis Ngannou. So Dana White also opened the door for that fight yesterday at a press conference. So it's going to be a very interesting year for the UFC for the next 5 months going into the end of the year. And so on the undercard, we got Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Marlon Vera. We got Junior Dos Santos taking on Rosenstruck. We got John Dodson taking on a flyweight contender. And we also got Herbert Burns, brother of Gilbert Burns, taking on Daniel Pieta. It's going to be live on ESPN Plus at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's going to be on pay-per-view, and I'm excited to see this card. But a lot of people want to know, like, what's my prediction for the fight between DC and Stipe. So in this fight, I think that DC is going to come out the aggressor, just like the second fight. It's going to be more back and forth. I'm predicting the fight to be less ground game. I think it's going to be more of a stand-up slugfest. I'm predicting DC to do less takedowns than usual. And I think that this time it's going to go the distance. I won't be shocked if there's a KO. But I am predicting Stipe to win this fight by a split decision. It's going to be a split decision. I think that DC will fight again after this fight. Stipe will either fight Jones or Ngannou. I think that a fight between Stipe and Ngannou will be the next fight to make. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest super fights of 2021. I think I don't think Stipe is going to fight again for the rest of the year. And so hopefully in 2021 the UFC can get fans back in the arena, because like the fights have been good this year, but it isn't the same without seeing actual like live fans in there. So the thing is like the fans, they bring in more excitement. It brings a different energy, like a different atmosphere into the arena than just seeing a fight in the empty arena. The only thing that's good about an empty arena fight is that you can hear the punches and kicks like loud and clear. So that's the good thing about it. But as far as tonight's fight, even though there are no fans in the audience yet, I still think that it's going to be exciting to watch, and this is going to be a very good heavyweight fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. All right, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Let me know who you guys think is going to win tonight's heavyweight fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening to Boxagon Sports with Abraham Storns Jr., broadcasting the very best in boxing, MMA, and wrestling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.